I wanted to talk a little bit about our function here. Our purpose here. It's not the kind of question you hear around the average American dinner table at night. What is our purpose here? Let's discuss what our purpose here is. Course in Miracles tells us our purpose here, our function, is forgiveness. Pretty mysterious stuff. How many of us grew up with that as a principle for living properly, for living a proper life? For living a life in tune with the present moment, in tune with truth, reality. How many of us grew up in households that had that as the prime directive? That would discuss that in the evenings. The opportunities we all had during that one day to apply forgiveness. Discuss the challenges that we faced that day and how we applied forgiveness to it. No, we would simply complain about things. That's what my family would do. So, how much simpler that would have made life to know at an early age that my function here, my purpose for being here was simply to communicate forgiveness, which we can also call unconditional love. Also call it compassion. If you're experiencing anxiety, embarrassment, anger, resentment, in that moment, you're simply not fulfilling your function. No one's really doing anything to cause you to have these thoughts and emotions. You're not fulfilling your function in that moment. The ego is so embedded that when Jesus says we have to practice forgiveness, he means all the time. All the time. In the early stages, you have to be alert to the ego's mind, the ego's mindset. That mindset to be inclined toward victim mentality or judgment mentality. They're basically the same. But it's helpful to point out that when you're in a judgmental mode, you are pretending to be victimized by something. So what is forgiveness? What does it really mean? What it means is that the peace of God is in you. It's not even right to say the peace of God is in you. You are the peace of God. You are the Son of God. You are peace and love and joy and eternity and abundance itself. That's what you are. Nothing can take that away from you unless you agree to it. You are the peace of God. You are the Son of God. You are the most powerful thing in this universe. And when we pretend that we're the small self, what do you think's going to happen? Can you make a list long enough of the side effects of that skewed principle, that you're just a small self with your name attached to it and your little story about yourself and others? That story is not eternal. That small self's not eternal, but you are. So forgiveness means, oh, I made a mistake. I pretended that other people have the power to take the peace of God away from me. It cannot be removed from me because that's who I am. It's what I am. I am here as a representative, the Son of God, to project power, eternity, love, unconditional love. Jesus is putting it in a way that he can have us understand. He's saying simply focus on forgiveness. But forgiveness is a doorway. Language is so limiting, but only to the degree that the word forgiveness is all-encompassing, but we have to look at it through so many different channels sometimes to get it. You are the peace of God. You are all-powerful, infinite, eternal, and you can't tap into that unless you practice what Jesus wants us to call forgiveness. That's all. That's the doorway. And from there, the stepping stones, the effects of unconditional love on your life, no one could pretend to describe that to you. Forgiveness seems like a very mild word, but what Jesus is pointing to with forgiveness is unbound, limitless, unconditional love, compassion, and the power that comes with that. Our function here is forgiveness. Forgiveness. The past is gone. Life starts right now. Right now. Life is right now. Forgiveness is presence. Compassion. Unconditional love. Love and blessings to all my brothers and sisters.